Hello, everyone. This is Maryann here. Welcome to my Random Sage podcast. Random Sage with Maryann from Revealing Light. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here wherever you are in the world. I know I have listeners from all over the globe. I want to welcome you here today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting this podcast. I think, what am I, episode 9 or 10, something like that. We are a weekly podcast, or semi-weekly, I guess. And we look at anything from the paranormal through to spiritual practices, how to live a more spiritual life, and also look at current events which appear seemingly random and chaotic, and try and make sense out of those current events. We look at politics as well. We look at democracies under threat, and again, try and look at it from a universal spiritual point of view and try and fit the pieces together. Now, if you've been listening to my podcast for a while now, the last couple of months, you will know that I started my career as a journalist. And I very much was raised, if you like, in the journalism school under what was known as the Australian Code of Journalistic Ethics, or journalist ethics. And so we had to practice those. If we didn't, we were also a member of what was then the Australian Journalists Association, the AJA. And if you didn't practice according to that code, you could be sanctioned, reprimanded, and also sacked. Such was the seriousness that the publishers took adherence to that code. Over the decades since then, we've seen a total erosion of standards and ethics in journalism. However, that is on one hand. It's the race for the almighty dollar, isn't it, that's weakened the ethical behaviour of journalists. On the other hand, there's still enough good journalists left, including younger journalists coming up at the various journalism schools, who understand what it means to report the news for you, for the greatest service of you. And there are very well-established journalistic ethics and standards still within various media. You just have to look for the right ones. CNN last week gave a platform to defendant Trump. And I can't remember when I've been as angry as what I was when I purposely didn't listen to it, because like a lot of other people, and this is the underestimation of CNN, like a lot of people, no matter where they are in the world, we cannot stomach the sound of his voice. We cannot stomach the sight of him. Why? Because he has caused us instability and trauma over the years. And part of that trauma is why he is able to get away with the things that he gets away with, why he gets away with the lies, why he gets away with the alleged attempted coup, why he gets away to dog whistling to the Proud Boys when people die, why he gets away with, I guess, being the catalyst for greater division, dangerous division in the United States, why his brand of toxicity, politics, lying, division was exported to other countries, including my own in Australia. We want him to go away. What did CNN do? Did they report what he was saying for us to make decisions about? No. They gave him a platform which resembled a rally. Now, you've heard a lot of commentary in the days since then. The audience at the supposed, I'm not going to even call it a town hall, the audience at the platform they created for him was stacked with his own supporters, some of them coming and going from Mar-a-Lago, his Florida resort where he tends to hang out these days. Trump supporters. They were instructed to not to boo him if they were thinking about it. No, they had to, they were encouraged to applaud, to make him feel welcome. The current head of CNN, Chris Licht, told him to go and have some fun out there, have a conversation, have some fun. They used one of their journalists, although she, of course, is wise and ambitious. She knew what she was getting into. Caitlin Collin came dressed in the white pantsuit or white suit, of the what would be a modern day equivalent of suffragette fashion, all set there, and it was a live event. She simply wasn't up to the task. Just in his mannerisms, the way that he didn't face her, the way that he sidelined her, the way that he talked over her, the way that he encouraged the crowd to disrespect her. And she did, in fact, she tried, I guess, sometimes to fact check him. But on the things that really were gravely mattered, she just let him go, including that Democrats want to murder babies born after 9 months. She let that go without a fact check. She let him denigrate E. Jean Carroll, the lady that has battled and fought and won in the courts and found Trump liable for the sexual abuse of her within, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it was of that verdict. They let him come on and defame her again and again. He was totally out of control. He stitched them up, if indeed this was the case, because I can't see any other reason for allowing him to do what he did. Obviously, the condition of his appearance was give me my supporters in the audience. So now we're looking at manufactured conditions, not real life conditions. In New Hampshire, which is a blue-leaning state, they stacked his town hall with his own supporters. Manufactured. Wasn't journalism. It was a manufactured platform. It was a rally. And then the head of CNN, Chris Licht, patted himself on the back afterwards and said, we created a lot of news. Here's the thing. Journalists don't create news through manufactured synthetic processes. They report the news. They hold whoever they're interviewing to account. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes. Many, many, many people unfollowed CNN, won't watch CNN after that. Why is what they did dangerous? Because journalism standards, where we report, where we fact check, where we don't manufacture the news, where we investigate, where we dig, where we bring forward the truth, is what protects us in the future, in the present and in the future. So imagine American MAGA movement if the Democrats had a Trumpian type figure and the media gave him that platform without fact checking. Imagine the shoe on the other foot. Do you think that your freedom would be protected from a would-be despot, an authoritarian leader? If you don't uphold those standards, karma works in sometimes very predictable ways. It will come back to bite you one way or another. Now, what I think is happening in America is there are enough democratic-minded people that don't want authoritarian leaders, that don't want anything to do with Trump. There are a lot of Republicans as well who don't want him to be their nominee. So why? Why did CNN do it? Well, the obvious question is ratings, trying to win over some of the disenchanted Fox News viewers, the MAGAs, trying to get them in the tent. It's a similar thing to what Elon Musk tried to do, and look how it backfired on him on Twitter, opening up the floodgates to the neo-Nazis, the anti-Semitism, the racist, and we saw that in the audience where they laughed and jeered at his jokes and at his despicable commentary on E. Jean Carroll and on other things. However, it was very short-sighted on CNN's behalf, because they might have had the defendant Trump town hall didn't garner as many views as what the Biden town hall did, and many Democrats watch CNN. Pretty sure they are leaving the whatever you would call them now, the media, entertainment, infotainment type organization. They're leaving it in droves. They had no way of justifying this. Their key anchor, Anderson Cooper, tried to, it was kind of the lamest thing I think I've seen Anderson do. Tried and failed to say, well, we did this because you need to know what's at stake. You need to know what type of a person the Republicans might nominate again. We already knew that. And I think the biggest underestimation was the aversion. I think that's a good word for it. The aversion that many people have for defendant Trump nowadays, based on what he has taken away, destroyed over the last 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, what he's done. I think in many ways it's unforgivable what they did. So let's pull some cards. As much and all as I feel sad for what they did, I also understand watching much truth emerge through good journalism in the US and other places. I have hope. I'm not cynical about journalism yet, and that's saying something. And I'm not cynical because I choose my news sources very carefully. If I ever chose CNN in the past, I won't be choosing them in the future. In fact, I've unfollowed, logged out. I don't want to see nor hear of them again. So the questions that I have, I like to do a card pull at the end of each podcast, is there's multiple rumours that Chris Licht will be stood down after this disaster. Well, it's a rumour until it's confirmed, but let's see. Will the CNN head who manufactured this situation, will he be stood down? Will Chris Licht be stood down, sacked, forced to resign? Will Chris Licht be forced to resign? We got the Hierophant card. It's going to go to the courts. My other question was, will they be sued? I think E. Jean Carroll might try that, and we've got restriction. So just as Fox News became a naive co-conspirator with Trump, Dominion, Smartmatic, possibly even January 6th, and other, there's a price to pay. They might face suits in the future. The Queen of Pentacles, stability, finances. The Eight of Cups in the past, I think it was a disaster. I don't care how they try and spin it. Ten of Swords. I think you can expect him to leave in the near future. The outcome card is the immediate future is the Sun card. He could go sooner rather than later. Wheel of Fortune, change, and he didn't quite, the environment around, I mean, these are showing me a broad narrative. You know, CNN did do this for ratings and money, did do it to increase their viewership. But, you know, what did they think that would happen? Maybe the scenario is true that some say that Trump said if they stack it with, if they give him his own supporters, he'll be reasonable. He'll try and reach out to the moderates. He won't do what he previously has done. And he was never going to hold to that deal. If CNN did make that deal with him, they did so very naively. We get a crossroads here. The network is at a crossroads, and we get justice. He's going as the outcome card, and the moon cards, things coming to the surface. The contract that they did with Trump, the deal they did with Trump, there's more to it than meets the eye. That will come out into the open. We get endings and new beginnings. Yeah, you play, as many others have found out, you play in the same sandpit as defendant Trump, you certainly will get burnt. Okay, so it looks like they're going to face some kind of action for some of the things as the publisher of what he was saying. So I think also they're probably going to be called in to give evidence, caught up in the Jack Smith special counsel probe, investigating defendant Trump on multiple matters, from classified documents. You know, they're now in the court system as a result of that town hall. Okay, let's just take a quick look at why they did this. I can't see any good reasons. Am I not seeing something? Why did CNN do this? So we get the High Priestess, secrets, and we get the Eight of Pentacles, money. Okay, something coming to the surface, and we get, maybe they thought that their anchor of the town hall was more skilled than what she was. Maybe they underestimated Trump's ability to steamroll her. Yes, there was a bit of naiveness there. Page of Swords, a truth emerging. What's going on here? The Ace of Swords in the past. It's in the past, well and truly in the past. That's the sword of truth. We get the Knight of Swords in the sky, a truth coming forward. Multiple truths came forward very quickly. Page of Wands, stepping forward with, it's a new, there's probably some documentation, meanings, something. It'll probably be leaked in the future about this plan to try and win over Republicans to the channel. The King of Wands we see in the here and now. This is boldly stepping forward. And we get the King of Cups, wisdom in the environment around. The Emperor card. Okay. Very much it's like a campaign against the other side. Division cells, creating division cells. The Magician card can be manipulation, manifestation, and we get endings and beginnings. I think they're short run into cultivating. It was to cultivate a newer audience, to appeal to a newer audience, to Trump supporters, basically. It's on the back burner now. It did not succeed at all. So all those stories about how bad it is over at CNN now, journalists within being terribly disappointed, they're all true. It's a shipwreck situation. So there is some rumor that they're negotiating with him to do another one. What are they now being part of on his campaign? I don't think this is true. Will they do another of this type of town halls? Will they do this same format again? They're at a crossroads. We get the Ace of Pentacles. They do want to court that Republican audience, but we get endings and beginnings. So no, I don't think. Moving out of troubled waters is in the past, and we get complete and utter downfall. Five of Pentacles, money loss. No, they're going the same way, restriction. They're going the same way as Elon Musk did. I don't know why they didn't learn. They're actually losing money as a result of this decision. They'll never do another one like this. They may have him on in a more controlled, pre-recorded type of environment with a proper audience, but of course he won't ever appear, will he, under those circumstances? All right. Why do journalism standards matter to me, to you, to the other side of the political fence? Because I am pro-democracy. Take that any way that you want it. Because these journalism standards, where we report the news, we don't manufacture it, and where we try and uncover the truth, where we report the facts, factual truth, not alternative facts, they protect both sides of politics. And that's why CNN failed and will pay a price. Thank you for tuning in to my podcast at Random Sage. I have my own website. This podcast is broadcast over Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, FM Player, all the major broadcasters. I also have a YouTube channel as well at Random Sage Podcast. Listen to it in whatever format you wish to. But thank you. Thank you for joining me for this, somewhat emotional, but I do get emotional. Well, not emotional. I get righteous. A little bit of righteousness is a good thing, and it's tinged with both disappointment, sadness, and a little bit of anger over what CNN did to allow Defendant Trump carte blanche, as we say, without appropriate fact-checking in a live event, in a manufactured town hall, giving him a platform, much as what he would have at one of his own rallies. I'm going to say disappointing and despicable. Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.